So your sacrifice unto God is a demonstration of your love for God. It's a demonstration of your love. Because it has to come from your sweat. That's why it's called sacrifice. That's why it's called sacrifice. If it does not cost you, it's not yet a sacrifice. If you don't feel it, it's not yet a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Oh, but God does not owe anyone. No one can outgive God, I can tell you. No one can outgive God. He's not asking you because he needs money. He's not asking for your money because he needs money. He's the creator of all things. He's the one that's giving you life. He's the one that has given you the enablement to take the money anyhow. He does not need it. But he's doing it because that's a mystery in the kingdom, to release the blessing. To release the blessing. To stop that which was meant for evil. To stop it. To stop it. It's the mystery of sacrifice. You know, when the pastor started preaching about sacrifice, I started to pray. When he set up that from the very first Sunday of September, I said, Lord, open my eyes. I need to know more about this mystery of sacrifice. Lord, open my eyes. More about this mystery. And so this, I think it was the second Sunday when he ministered, I came up here and I took an envelope to sow my precious seed. That week I already know about when I'm going into some dangerous prayers, I raise my precious seed to go ahead of me. So that week I was going into some fasting and dangerous prayers. So I took that envelope to let my precious seed go ahead of me. And so when I sat down, I started to write it. I said, oh, maybe I'll do it next week. And I put it back into my Bible. I said, next week. But I had this in my spirit. Said, no, go and drop it up now. And there were only two people. Pastor already started praying for the two people that came in front. And then I had it in my spirit, no, go and drop it up now. Go and release the seed now. So I got up. I took it and I dropped it. I came to the front. And I dropped it. Usually on Monday mornings, some Monday mornings, I'm not able to, because I have a long commute to work, to go to the level of prayer that I like to do every day. So I usually would get to that later in the day. But that Monday, I went to my altar to pray. And as I started to pray, so I wrote in my precious seed, I will give my seed electronically. So when I went to pray, as soon as I sat down to pray, it dropped in my spirit, release the seed. I heard it, release the seed. So immediately I stopped. I opened my phone. I went to my bank. I Zelled it. I released it. And so I started praying. Finished my prayer, got up, got ready, started driving to work. My driving time, 2 hours, 15 minutes to work. About 2 hours, 15, 2 hours, 20 minutes. I was over about maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes from work. So I called my mom. Usually I don't call her on Mondays. They all know on Mondays are very busy for me. I have lots of prayer meetings in the evening, and it's a long day. So they all know I don't call on Mondays. But that Monday morning, I called her to see how she was doing. And she didn't sound right on the phone. She said she had a difficult night. She didn't sound right. So I said, I'm coming. So I turned around. I called my office. I said, I will not be in the office today. So I rerouted myself. I was now, should I go to emergency? Should I go to urgent care? I called my husband. He said, you better go to emergency. I said, yeah, emergency. I think that's what I should do. So I went and I picked her up. Another 1 hour, 15 minutes drive. I had driven almost 2 hours. I drove another 1 hour, 15 minutes. Got to her, picked her up. Picked her up, and she was fine. We got to the hospital, at the emergency room. It was like a marketplace. And we just sat. Till about 6:30, they checked her oxygen and carbon dioxide in her arteries. Not just the one they check in your finger, but in the arteries, which shows how much CO2 you have in your arteries. And they were alarmed. They said, oh, her CO2 level is too high. We have to admit her. So they admitted her. I didn't even know how serious it was. So we're still fine, everything going well. The next day, they kept overnight. The next day, Tuesday. By Tuesday evening, I had left because I had been with her from Monday all the way through Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, I was exhausted. I just needed to go home and take a shower. And so I left for a few minutes. My husband was there, my brother. And then, just all of a sudden, they didn't even know. They were chatting with her. They didn't know. They thought, oh, she's sleeping. A nurse that had already gone off their duty. So I don't know what brought her, but I know what brought her. It's the precious seed that has gone ahead. It's the precious seed. It was the seed upon the altar. It was the sacrifice upon the altar that ordered everybody's footsteps. It was the sacrifice upon the altar that even made me to call her that Monday morning. It was the sacrifice upon the altar that even created the opening for us to go. The nurse was already leaving. She had clocked out. She had no business coming into that room. And she saw her in distress. And it was already almost too late. They said we need to put her on life support. She can no longer breathe. And so, from Monday, all of a sudden now life support on Tuesday. I called Pastor. That's when they called me. I was home. Remember, I just left to go shower and I started running back. I said, Pastor, pray. Pastor said, is she breathing? Have they declared her dead? I said, no. But Pastor, pray. He said, I'm coming. I said, Pastor, no, it's too far. Don't come. Just pray. He said, I'm coming. So he came. To the glory of the Lord sustained her. The Lord sustained her. 2 days later, they took away the life support. But we're now thinking, Lord, open our eyes. And every day, I took her picture into my altar. And I'll lay my hands upon her picture and I'll put an alarm. 60 minutes, I will pray in tongues. I will not stop until that alarm goes off. Then I know it's 60 minutes. And every day I lay my hands and I prayed. And the Lord started to order a part to show us. I said, Lord, open our eyes. The doctor said, we don't know what to do. They checked MRI, they did CT scan, they did everything. Nothing. No heart failure, no blockage in the lungs, nothing. They could not figure out what the problem was. They could not. I said, Lord, open our eyes. Lord, open our eyes. And we called upon the name of the Lord. The sacrifice. Hallelujah. Thursday last week, everything going up and down, up and down. And I went. The Lord, one of the days I was laying my hands and praying. The Lord said, I want you to come before the court of heaven. And again, with schedules back and forth. It took me 2 days. And then one day, the numbers were all over. I said, Lord, nothing will stop me now from coming before the court of heaven. And I went to the court of heaven. And I prayed and I secured her righteous release from the altar of infirmity. And I went outside and I spoke to the ground. Brethren, there is a prayer called the prayer of the earth. The prayer of the earth, if you remember in the book of Revelations, the Bible said that the dragon came after the seed of the woman. And the seed of the woman was delivered once she gave birth, and the seed was delivered and put away in a safe place. And the dragon went after the woman. But the Bible said that the earth helped the woman. That the dragon even poured out water from his mouth to consume the woman with flood. But the Bible said that the earth helped the woman. The earth opened up its mouth and swallowed the water. And I spoke to the earth and I said, release my mother. Release my mother. Release her. Release her. The seed was already on the altar. The sacrifice was already on the altar. So you cannot hold her. You cannot hold her. And last Thursday, the Lord opened our eyes. My sister was just looking. She said she's a neurologist in Boston. She said, you know, I suspect it's her eye drop. I said, eye drop? She said, yes. I said, really? I started looking. I started reading up on it. And truly, for that condition, the eye drop complicated things. I said, my God. I pulled up papers. Published papers. I said, Lord, who knew this? I brought it to the doctors. They were like, what? We had no idea. Who would think an eye drop will complicate issues like this? I said, please remove it. Remove it. But that revelation only came because the sacrifice was on the altar. The sacrifice was on the altar. And so the Lord started to move strongly on our behalf. Brethren, I have come to tell you that there is a mystery called the mystery of sacrifice. That when properly engaged, produces miracles. This were a group of doctors. They had no idea what to do. Me too, I didn't know what to do. We came to the place where, Lord, what do we do? How can we get away from there? Where is hope? And the Lord opened our eyes and said, this is the reason why. This is the reason why there is a complication. Once that was removed, everything started to go down. Everything started to go down. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Hallelujah.